Now the brainstem. We covered the spinal cord one, the brainstem one. The brainstem also modulates the action of the spinal motor neuron. And how does it modulate? We can say the brainstem. What was the function of the brainstem? The lower, the lowest level in the hierarchy was spinal cord. The second was brainstem. So, like the spinal cord controls the reflexive and rhythmic movement, brainstem also control the reflexive and rhythmic movement of the corresponding area of the face and neck, right? Apart from those function, the brainstem also control the rest of the spinal motor neuron, and it controls via two systems, two pathways, medial and lateral. So medial descending tract and lateral descending tract, or descending brainstem pathway or brainstem tract we can say. So the medial brainstem pathway, it provides, as we all know, there is proximal distal rule or medial lateral rule. The medial most one, it will provide the basic posture control, basic posture control, postural control system. And how this basic postural control system is maintained or help in performing the movement by affecting the axial and proximal limb muscle, axial and proximal limb muscle. So the we can say these medial pathway, they provide this control of the basic posture so that a particular posture is maintained, and then after maintaining that particular posture you can perform a highly differentiated organized movement, like you have to dance or you have to perform any kind of a thing. Then for that you need to maintain that particular axial posture of that axial skeletal. Okay, and this is done via the descending tracts, and there are three types of these medial descending pathway that is coming from the brainstem. Major tract 3, there are few other, but major are the three. One is vestibulospinal tract, vestibulospinal tract. The second one, this vestibulospinal is further into medial and lateral. Okay, that is one. Then there is reticulospinal tract, reticulospinal tract. Now this reticulospinal tract is further medial and lateral. It's coming from the reticular formation. Then the third one is tectospinal, that is from the tectum. If you can recall back the tectum, that superior colliculus and inferior colliculus, that tectospinal tract. These pathway, they descend in the ipsilateral ventral column. They descend in the ipsilateral ventral column of the spinal cord, and they terminate mainly on the either on the interneuron, because they will terminate on the interneuron, not directly on the alpha motor neuron, interneuron, and the long propriospinal. See, the propriospinal were long or short. For long were, they were almost traversing up and down of the entire spinal cord, and that was helping in maintaining the posture, right? And the function of these medial is to basic postural control, basic posture control. So definitely these medial descending pathway will have connection with the long propriospinal neurons and the interneurons. So it will influence the motor neurons that innervate or that supply the axial and proximal limb muscles. Now coming to the second one, that is the lateral one, lateral brainstem pathway. They are main concerned with the goal oriented limb movements. Okay, goal oriented or goal directed limb movement. And what we mean by goal oriented or goal directed, we can say like I have to pick up this pen, then to reach and manipulate, reaching and manipulating movement. These type of the movement are called as reaching and manipulating. Reaching to a particular object, and when you want to lift it up, pick it up, or you want to do any manipulation, you have to manipulate. So reaching and manipulating movement is performed via the distal limb movement, and that is controlled by the lateral brainstem pathway. And out of the lateral brainstem pathway, major is rubrospinal tract. This rubrospinal tract, so it will terminate on the interneuron, similar to the medial. It will terminate on the interneuron in the dorsolateral part of the spinal cord, dorsolateral part of the spinal gray matter. And so it will influence the motor neuron to control the dorsal muscle of the limb. The main lateral descending pathway, this rubrospinal tract, it originates, red nucleus, it originates from the magnocellular, these are few of the terminology you have to remember, magnocellular portion of red nucleus, magnocellular portion of the red nucleus. Okay, and these rubrospinal tract, they descend through the medulla to the dorsal part of the spinal cord, They are highly developed within those four-limbed animals like the cat and the monkey, but in the case of the human being, they are not so much developed. They are very less developed because the function of this rubrospinal tract is done by the this corticospinal tract itself. So in crux or overall, we can say the main component of the medial pathway are reticulospinal, vestibulospinal, and tectospinal tract that descend in the ventral column, and these tracts, they terminate in ventromedial area of the spinal gray matter. Why? Because it is not why. What means it is ending at the ventromedial, it means it will control the medial portion, and the medial most will be to maintain the axial skeletal muscle as well as the proximal limb muscle. Now the main lateral descending pathway is rubrospinal tract, which originates in the red nucleus, and these tracts descend in the contralateral. Dorsal column or dorsolateral column. This is the ventral column, this is dorsolateral column. Okay, and terminates in the dorsolateral area of the spinal gray matter.